facing backward. Hello there. I'm sorry I started off backward today. How did I get things so wrong that I faced the precisely opposite direction for what I'm trying to accomplish? It's so obvious that I have to face the camera if I'm going to teach you about menopause. You already know me well enough to realize that I faced the wrong way intentionally. It's all part of the lesson for today. If you've been a student here at Menopause University for any length of time, you've seen multiple aspects of menopause that are completely backward. In fact, the state of affairs for menopause is so far off the mark that it's shocking. And I've decided to take this opportunity to present a whole list of backward aspects of menopause to you in this video today. You know, I spend a large portion of my life like this. That's what I do in response to all the backward aspects of menopause. And there are so many of them that I'm surprised I haven't given myself a concussion. To show you just how many aspects of menopause are completely backward, I'm going to present a bunch of them today. By the end of this video, you'll probably be slapping your head too. Let's start with the most basic backward aspect of menopause. The very fact that the only reason you even have menopause is because you didn't die earlier. As I've taught you, other animals die instead of having menopause. But we are the lucky ones. We get another half a lifetime. And even though we should view it as a kind of revival, we don't. Instead, both women and society are in denial. Women do not acknowledge menopause. They do not talk about menopause. They do not learn about menopause. They certainly don't celebrate menopause. Why not? We've got the whole gift of menopause backward. Along with our denial of menopause comes fear-based knowledge about menopause. Most women have only heard sound bites that are governed by nothing but fear, and none of what they've heard makes any sense whatsoever. But because fear is the most powerful emotion on earth, they don't stop to think about how illogical their fear-based information is. Instead of demanding facts that make sense, women settle for fear that makes no sense. For instance, why do women believe that the very estrogen that their own body produced for about 35 or 40 years is dangerous or poisonous? I mean, you walk around for 35 or 40 years with your own body producing buckets of estrogen, and you feel wonderful. And when your body stops producing it, you feel horrible. But when somebody tells you that it's dangerous to replace it, the fear is so powerful that you don't do the most logical thing ever. Logic would induce you to question the fear with, what? That doesn't make any sense. If estrogen is poisonous or bad for me, why didn't it strike me dead in the 35 to 40 years when my body was producing buckets of it? No, the fear is so great that you don't dare question the logic. Here's another example. Your body produces many hormones: insulin, thyroid hormone, and several others. Do you hear anybody demonizing those hormones? If your pancreas stopped producing insulin, would you demonize it and be afraid to replace it? What about thyroid hormone? Why would you single out your precious female hormone as bad and consider all the others good? Do you hear men demonizing their testosterone? Every hormone deficiency on earth produces a whole host of symptoms that make you feel horrible. And if you don't replace the hormone, you develop diseases that can kill you. So why do we happily replace all the other hormone deficiencies but hesitate to replace estrogen deficiency? It's just so backward. And for women who do choose to replace estrogen, they worry about taking too much instead of about taking too little. Your body produced a bucket of estrogen. All of the hormone replacement options consist of only drops. So you really need to worry about getting too little, not too much. You know, in my consultations with women, woman after woman after woman will say, I can't believe it. The more estrogen I take, the better I feel. And I just respond with, really, Mama Bear? They have been so terrorized by the notion that their own estrogen is bad for them that they can't believe it when their own body proves to them that it loves the stuff. And then there are those who try to satisfy their body's need for estrogen with every hormone except estrogen. They use progesterone, which is baby bear's hormone. Its only job is to support a pregnancy. Or they use testosterone, which is Papa Bear's hormone. Or they fall for all sorts of marketing schemes pushing various herbs or supplements, claiming that they can do what estrogen can do. That's insane! A hormone is a hormone is a hormone. Your body produces them for a reason. It can't survive without them. And then there are those who are backward enough to presume that diet and exercise can do what estrogen can do. Have you ever heard of an insulin-dependent diabetic claiming that they will use diet and exercise instead of insulin for their insulin deficiency? What about thyroid hormone? Could you use diet and exercise instead of thyroid hormone replacement for that? Of course not. Nutrition is nutrition. Exercise is exercise. And a hormone is a hormone. Never will they do one another's job. It's just backward to think that they can. But even women who do choose to take estrogen replacement go about doing so in the most backward of ways. They focus on products rather than on goals. Instead of designating their goals and then choosing products that can accomplish their goals, they pick products based on marketing and advertising. And in so doing, they completely lose sight of their goals. The most glaring backward aspect of the product versus goal focus is treating symptoms versus preventing diseases. The underlying cause of both is estrogen deficiency. It just so happens to cause a bunch of symptoms like all other hormone deficiencies. So if you treat only the symptoms, you'll still be at risk for the diseases. But most women aren't even aware that there are diseases of estrogen deficiency. Most women worry more about hot flashes than they do about heart attack, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's disease. So they look for options that can alleviate their symptoms while falling short of preventing the diseases. Quite commonly, they have the backward notion that the unregulated compounding industry is safer than the regulated pharmaceutical industry. How in the world is a product that has no oversight whatsoever safer than one that does? That's insane. The big difference is that the pharmaceutical industry has to tell you everything about the product. The compounding industry doesn't have to tell you anything about the product. Lack of regulation does not mean safer. It never has and it never will. And even when women choose a product that is completely wrong for them, They listen to all the wrong things for correcting it. The only opinion that matters is your body's, not your brains, not my brains, not any lab. Nothing matters except what your body experiences. And it's really very simple as far as your body is concerned. If your body has enough estrogen, you will have 0 symptoms of estrogen deficiency. You will not lose any bone, and your lipids will be stable. But instead of just listening to their own bodies, most women listen to Dr. Google, celebrities, marketers, advertisers, hype, scare tactics, ignorant girlfriends, and terrorists, basically. They listen to everything but their own bodies. Some women just copy some other woman. Or they seek a professional who knows nothing about menopause and end up managing their menopause the ignorant professional's way. It's just so backward. No 2 women are alike. Every woman has to find what's right for her. And there's no way you'll succeed in finding what's right for you by listening to all the wrong people. Nor will you succeed by getting your information from the media or from single studies. The media knows nothing about menopause, nor do they know anything about medicine. Never use the media as your source for medical information. Likewise, don't ever use a single study. You know, these days people cite studies to defend their opinions. They didn't necessarily read the study. They didn't actually understand the study. And they have no idea how to analyze the study. Despite all this, they cite studies. No one study amounts to a hill of beans. Every study is merely one piece of a 5,000-piece puzzle. So don't rely on a single study as a source of any kind of information either. What you're left with is the cold, hard fact that the only way you're ever going to get your menopause managed successfully and meet all your goals is to get a real education on menopause. Tailor everything specifically to you. Listen to your own body to determine how to adjust your regimen. Use facts rather than fear. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. If you do that, you won't have to start slapping your head, and I can stop slapping mine, and we'll all be better off. Alrighty. I hope this backward perspective helps you to go about managing your menopause in a way that makes sense and creates success. If you want to succeed from the start or reverse all the backward things you've done thus far, schedule a consultation with me at menopausetailor.me. It will be the most beneficial, logical, and successful thing you could possibly do. You'll also correct some backward things by subscribing to this channel and to my newsletter. Following me on Facebook, Instagram, Stories, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter will correct some backward things, and it'll present some fun things. And next week, I will tell you the story about how this menopause tailor education business came about. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Bye!